Welcome to the Explainer. So we're taking a look at a bunch of recent events that, honestly, suggest fully autonomous robotaxis might be way closer than you think. It's like a perfect storm, right? You've got software breakthroughs, manufacturing milestones, and real-world proof. And it's all happening at the exact same time. So let's kick things off with this recent statement from Elon Musk. He's talking about a video of a Tesla just navigating a super complex parking garage. And this isn't just about a car finding a parking spot. It's way bigger than that. It points to a fundamental shift in how we should be thinking about these vehicles. They're not just machines following lines of code anymore. We're talking about an intelligence that can actually perceive and understand the world around it.
For years, the whole robotaxi thing has felt like it's perpetually just around the corner, right? It's always soon. But just this past weekend, a whole cluster of key developments happened, like all at once. And it's got a lot of people asking, is this it? Are we finally at the tipping point? It really felt like a shift, something you can actually point to.
And look, these aren't just a bunch of random isolated events. No way. What we're seeing is the convergence of solutions to three huge challenges that have basically held back the robotaxi dream for a decade. We're talking about cracking real-world AI, actually building the machine at scale, and maybe the hardest part, earning our trust. So let's break each one down.
All right, first up, the software. This has always been the biggest hurdle, right? How do you create an AI that can handle the complete, unpredictable chaos of the real world? It's one thing to drive on a perfectly mapped, clean highway, but it's a whole other ballgame to navigate a crazy city street during rush hour with pedestrians, cyclists, you name it.
And this is where Tesla's strategy is just radically different. Instead of trying to write a bazillion lines of code for every possible thing that could happen, which is impossible, by the way, they're using what's called an end-to-end approach. Basically, raw video goes in one end of the AI brain, and driving controls, steering, braking, accelerating, come out the other. The AI literally learns by watching video, just like a human does. It's about creating a general understanding of driving, not just following a super rigid pre-programmed script.
So this really highlights the two competing philosophies in this whole race for autonomy. On one side, you've got companies like Waymo. They layer on a ton of redundancy. We're talking expensive LiDAR, radar, plus these incredibly detailed pre-built maps. Their cars operate inside a geofence, which is basically a virtual bubble, where they know every single inch of the road. Then on the other side, you've got Tesla. They're making a huge bet that cameras, just vision, can be trained to see and react to the world from scratch, with the goal of being able to drive pretty much anywhere. It's a fascinating contrast for sure.
Okay, so the multi-million-dollar question is, how do these two different approaches handle the unexpected? We're talking about the edge cases, all the weird, unpredictable stuff that happens on the road that falls outside the norm. This is really where pre-programmed systems can hit a wall, because, let's be real, you can't possibly write code for every single bizarre thing that can happen out there.
Think about it. We're talking about stuff like emergency vehicles with flashing lights, or trying to navigate a crazy unmarked parking lot. There are reports that while Tesla's FSD is being trained to hear sirens and pull over, some competing vehicles have been seen just not reacting to them at all. And this is where that learn like a human AI has a potential advantage. It's designed to generalize, to handle new situations it wasn't explicitly programmed for, instead of just freezing up.
Okay, so let's say you have the most perfect software in the world. It's useless, right? It's totally useless if you don't have a vehicle that you can build efficiently and affordably, and at a massive scale. And that brings us to the second giant challenge, the hardware, building the machine itself.
And this is why those recent sightings are such a big deal. Seeing multiple cybercabs driving around on public roads, this isn't just a concept car at a show anymore. According to supply chain experts, this is a huge signal that the engineering teams are locking in what they call Recipe 1. The final design that's actually ready for the factory floor.
And get this, the way they plan to build it is just as revolutionary as the software inside it. They call it the unboxed process, and it's basically inspired by how electronics are made, not cars. Instead of one long assembly line, they build big chunks of the car all at the same time, in parallel. And by using things like stainless steel, they can get rid of the entire paint shop, one of the most complex parts of a car factory. The goal? To slap a cybercab together in about a third of the time it takes to build a Model Y. That kind of efficiency could completely change the economics of transportation.
Okay, so you've got world-class AI. You've got a hyper-efficient factory. But none of that matters, not one bit, without the most important component of all, public trust. This is the final hurdle. And you know what? It might just be the hardest one to clear.
Really, how do you convince millions of people to get into a car with no driver? Promises aren't going to cut it. Lab simulations aren't enough. The data has to speak for itself. out in the real world. And it turns out, one driver's absolutely incredible journey is providing a proof point that is just impossible to ignore.
So let me introduce you to David Moss. As we're recording this, he has driven, get this, over 8,800 consecutive miles using Tesla's full self-driving. He's already driven clear across the United States once and is actually on his way to do it all over again.
But here is the truly unbelievable part. His entire journey has been 100% intervention-free. Let that sink in. For over 8,800 miles, he hasn't touched the steering wheel, hasn't touched the pedals, not once. The car did everything. We're talking highways, city streets, finding and navigating to superchargers, even parking itself. All of it, completely on its own.
And, his trip is all documented online, so it's more than just some publicity stunt. It's a transparent, long-haul test. It's a powerful testament to just how capable and reliable the system is becoming. This is exactly the kind of real-world proof you need to start building that critical public trust.
So, what does this all mean? When you take a step back and look at everything that happened over just one weekend, you're not just seeing separate news stories. You're witnessing a great convergence. You're seeing these three critical streams: software, hardware, and trust, all flowing together at the exact same time.
I mean, just think about it for a second. In the very same moment, you've got the software getting so good that the top execs are riding around with no safety drivers. You have the actual physical hardware showing up on public roads, which screams that production is close. And you have real-world data from a regular user showing a level of reliability that honestly felt like science fiction just a few years ago. It's that synchronization, these three pillars lining up perfectly, that's just so incredibly significant. And that brings us to the final thought here. It really feels like the big question is no longer if this technology will arrive, but what are we going to do when it's actually here? The software, the hardware, the proof, it's all aligning. So now the real question is, how will our laws, our infrastructure, and our cities themselves change to meet this new world of autonomous travel? Thanks for watching.